The wait is almost over. The 2024 NFL Draft is this week. And here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports, we will get you the latest report from ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter on everything you need to know regarding Troy Fautanu, as well as Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix here on today's show. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to join us coming up on Thursday night for live coverage of round number 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. We'll get things started at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And between now and the first round of the draft, I want us to get to our next milestone of 51.5 thousand subscribers on the channel for the latest happenings across the National Football League. And in particular, this draft, you got to subscribe to the channel. Don't miss a moment. We got you covered all week long. An exciting week ahead here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Help us reach that next milestone. You'll be glad you did. All right, so let's start with what Schefter had to say. There's a lot to go through here on today's show. And the big headline, the big takeaway from Schefter is that the Seahawks could very well go with a quarterback at number 16 overall. Let's start off with this from Schefter of what he said in this new report that came out this morning. The Seahawks will have additional insight into a few local prospects, including quarterback Michael Penix Jr. and offensive lineman Troy Fautanu, who both played at Washington and could be first-round picks. New coach Mike Macdonald hired former Huskies offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb as his OC and offensive line coach Scott Huff as his O-line coach, which means Seattle could have an intriguing decision to make if both are available when the pick comes at number 16. Now, I'll say this. As far as if we're choosing between Troy Fautanu and Michael Penix Jr., Fautanu is the better pick for Seattle right now. If we're trying to put together the best roster for 2024, then that's the better pick for the moment. But we could be in a situation where we see Michael Penix Jr. have the bigger upside long term. If you believe that he can be a franchise quarterback and a guy that you want as the face of your organization for many years to come, then it could make sense to go Michael Penix Jr. as far as that goes. Let's compare the two of what Seattle could be looking at between Troy Fautanu as well as Michael Penix Jr. When you look at Fautanu, he was fantastic in the Pac-12 Conference this year. First-team All-Pac-12 selection, Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. He has seen his stock really rise up over the last several weeks as Mel Kiper has him as the number 1 offensive guard and number 12 overall player on his big board. And while his grades last year were just okay, 75.1, 2 sacks allowed, doesn't really tell the whole story of his potential. This is somebody that can play tackle, somebody that can play guard. He certainly would have a place on this Seahawks offensive line and be a day 1 starter for this team, which would be different from Michael Penix Jr., who, if they were to go with Penix, would be expected to sit behind Geno Smith this upcoming year. The scouting report, very good athletic ability, delivers jarring blows, agile and quick and pass pro, maximizes his length. He is a bit inconsistent in set points as far as that goes. Now, we'll talk about Michael Penix here in just a second, but I'll say this. I'm a big fan of Michael Penix. I like what he brings to the table, but if we're talking about this exact moment, all right, as the Seahawks are trying to improve upon a 9-8 campaign where they missed the playoffs last year, and the goal is to get back in. If it comes down to who is more likely to get me to the postseason next year, then the pick here is Troy Fautanu. If the pick is about the long term and potentially finding a franchise piece, then that's where you potentially favor Michael Penix Jr. here. Penix started his career with Indiana, ends with the Washington Huskies, taking them to the college football playoff and the national championship game where he was a first-team All-American and a Maxwell Award winner, the number 6 QB on Kiper's big board. And you look at what he's done. The thing that I like about Michael Penix Jr., that I would give him an advantage over other quarterbacks in this draft, like, let's say, J.J. McCarthy or maybe even Drake May, is we have seen him shine on some of the biggest stages. If he needed to put the team on his back. He was able to do so with some big moments. He was clutch when he needed to be, something that you can't say about Bo Nix, who we beat twice. We'll talk more about Bo Nix coming up later on. But the scouting report, an excellent decision maker, very smart when it comes to reading defenses, very solid accuracy, subtle footwork in the pocket. He lacks that plus arm strength. Nobody's going to confuse him with Josh Allen, but he's got good enough arm strength to get by. So which one would you rather go with? If this is ultimately the decision for Seattle at 16 to go with one of these Washington Huskies, you going with Penix or you going with Fautanu? Let us know what you think. Type M for Penix, type T for Fautanu. Let us know in the comments section below. More to come here on Seahawks Today. We'll get to the other half of the report from Adam Schefter and how Bo Nix could potentially be involved. But first, let's tell you about our sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the lowest prices guaranteed. You're looking for the best seats. Game Time's got you covered, folks. And here's how it works. You choose the event you want to go to, whether it's a sporting event, concert, theater, production, comedy show, and more. Game Time has got you covered. Let's say we're going to a Mariners game. Love seeing the Seattle Mariners in action there at T-Mobile Park. You choose the event, then you choose your seat. You might stumble upon a flash deal for some great seats for a cheap price. From there, you see if you like your seat or not, and you're checking out, whether it's with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time makes it easy. And if you need a little added incentive for you, let's start saving some money with the promo code ChatSports. That's right. Use the promo code ChatSports to check out. You are going to save $20 off on your first purchase. You heard that right. Download Game Time today. Get $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code ChatSports at checkout. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Terms and conditions do apply. Download Game Time today. You'll be glad you did. $20 off with the promo code ChatSports at checkout. All right, so more from ESPN's Adam Schefter here. Schefter is reporting saying that Seattle could end up taking a QB at 16 if the right one falls to them. Here's more on the potential possibility of whether it's Penix or Bo Nix. With regards to Penix, though, it should be pointed out that the Seahawks are high on quarterback Sam Howell, whom they traded for last month, and feel he offers some unique advantages. The 23-year-old Howell started 18 games for the Commanders and is the same age as Penix and Daniels and 1 year younger than Bo Nix. Macdonald and the Seahawks feel they have invested in their future at the position with a player who already has game experience. Bypassing a quarterback also would be consistent with Seattle and continue an odd trend for the franchise. The Seahawks have not taken a lot of quarterbacks over the years, as most of you know. It's been in John Schenider's time in Seattle, just 2 quarterbacks in about a 14-year stretch that he's been general manager. If it comes down to, let's just say, that the Seahawks have made up their minds, that they want to go ahead and go with a quarterback at 16, and it's between Penix and Bo Nix, I'm taking Penix every single day over Bo Nix. And quite frankly, for me, it's not close. We saw the two play head-to-head twice in 2023. Penix outplayed Bo Nix in both games. He made the necessary plays he needed to. He was clutch in big moments. When Oregon needed Bo Nix to step up and get the job done and get them to the college football playoff, he failed. He choked in those big moments. I've seen Bo Nix be inconsistent dating back to his days at Auburn. I like the pedigree that Penix brings to the table to get the job done when push comes to shove. I trust Penix a whole lot more than I do Bo Nix. Which quarterback would you rather pick? We'll talk more about Bo Nix here in just a second, but what about you guys? Type Penix for Michael Penix Jr., type Nix for Bo Nix. Let me know which quarterback you'd rather have on your roster if you were drafting for the Seahawks. More on Bo Nix, the Pac-12's Offensive Player of the Year, the number 5 QB on Kuiper's big board. And Kuiper, as well as Matt Miller, have been drawing some big comparisons of Bo Nix. They say he's similar to Drew Brees and Dak Prescott. I don't see that personally for Bo Nix. I think that he's a relatively inconsistent quarterback, and he's still the same guy that he was at the University of Auburn. He played in a quarterback-friendly system there with the Ducks and played against easier defenses in the Pac-12 Conference compared to what he did in the SEC. But nonetheless, it was still a very good year for Bo Nix. 51 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 43 touchdowns and 7 interceptions the year prior. But you have to take into account that life was a lot easier for Bo Nix. The scouting report, very good athlete, creation outside the pocket, reliable quick game operator, ability to layer throws, inconsistent toughness, though, in the pocket. And to put it simply, I am selling everything there is about Bo Nix. He is not that guy. You guys know the TikTok a couple years ago, the guy that says, "You are not that guy." That's Bo Nix for me. He is not that guy. I would be very disappointed if we're sitting here on Thursday night and the draft pick for the Seattle Seahawks is Bo Nix. I can live with it being Michael Penix and going with a quarterback. Troy Fautanu, I can live with. That would be a solid pick, and I don't think anybody should complain. But if Bo Nix is the pick for the Seahawks, there will be riots in the streets. Let's put it that way. Who's a player the Seahawks should draft? We've talked about a few of them. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know a player that you think the Seahawks should pick up here this weekend. For more Seahawks coverage, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to join us for our live coverage coming up Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see you then. I'm Tyler Jones. So long. Subscribe now. We'll see you next time.